Have you heard the news? There's a menace lurking in our bathrooms, and they want to prey on us and our children. They want access to looking at your child's genitals, and they want to peep while you pee. There's been 57 cases of misconduct within this small group of the population since 1970. In fact, if we scaled that number to the entire population of the United States, they would have committed 32 million acts against us so far. They could be hiding anywhere within your community and have a secret hiding underneath. They're like demons ready to corrupt your life. Do you want to know who these people are and protect yourself and your children to outlaw these vile creatures? Well, they're members of Congress. So now what are you gonna do? Inciting fear and loathing is the easy way out, as people are easily scared. But it doesn't require any credentials. It only requires an individual with a skewed moral compass, or the desire to derive pleasure from other people's pain. While I'm not saying that individuals like that are inherently bad, these individuals are a special case. Then you simply need a sucker demographic, one that completely lacks exposure to a group of individuals, yet feels like they could be an expert on the subject.
That's the sociological definition of prejudice.
Essentially, you need a group of individuals that are deeply influenced by the cognitive bias known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Within this logical pitfall, individuals lacking adequate experience tend to overestimate their abilities on different topics. For individuals that are falling prey in North Carolina and other states that are attempting to implement anti-trans legislation, they overestimate their ability to understand trans individuals because they lack exposure to us and who we really are. In fact, here in the United States, more people claim to have seen a ghost than a trans individual. They fail to recognize their own ineptitude and therefore evaluate themselves as more highly knowledgeable on the topic in question. Stated another way, they don't know enough to know that they don't know. They are in a vulnerable state, prone to exploitation by individuals much shrewder than themselves. Because, of course, there's going to be some individual out there that recognizes that they know more than that demographic and uses this to guide their thinking. It's like leading a horse with blinders on. What's interesting is that these individuals leading the horse tend to confess their personality disorder, and nobody really catches on. They do this through implications. Let's have a quote from GOP hopeful Mike Huckabee. Quote, "Now when I was in high school, I wish someone had told me that I could feel like a woman. Because I'm pretty sure I would have found my feminine side and said, 'Coach, I think I'd like to shower with the girls today.'" Now you're laughing because that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? End quote. To me, that's not funny. Words like that incite violence against my trans witchlings and perpetuate the genocide against them. That indicates to me that Mikey would have found it within himself to strip another human being of their consent, subject them to psychological torture, and also commit sexual violence from a young age, because obviously he was not going in there just to take a shower. That says menace to society to me. The only individual on this planet that would use that kind of logic is a psychopath. An individual that derives pleasure from other people's pain and suffering, whether physically or mentally. If having antisocial personality disorder makes it easier to spot individuals such as this, then I would say little Mikey looks awfully familiar. Perhaps he's not. But if he's going to go around admitting that he fantasizes about committing sexual violence, then I think we should get a fair chance at criticizing him in whatever way we see fit. And what I'm saying is I see some bad signs. This kind of rhetoric encourages Republican followers to think up ways of protesting trans bathroom rights, and this often comes in the form of Facebook pages and groups. This has led to a case where a cisgender man entered a femme bathroom in order to expose himself to individuals inside, and he used the claim that he was merely protesting trans rights. He was charged because there are already laws in place to protect individuals in those situations. Sure, they're reactionary, but there's nothing that would stop perverts from entering the bathroom. Not a sign, not a law, nothing. The laws we have are there for justice and retribution, allowing trans individuals to self-identify and use the proper facilities for their identity in no way endangers these laws, people using those facilities, or anything else. Laws like these are unnecessary government overreach into an area where no problem existed other than trans individuals being attacked by cisgender individuals. These laws enable and monetize bullying in our public education system. Right now, groups of individuals are being put through psychological torture here on Earth because of a religious belief. Within those same halls, it's claimed that they're doing everything they can to stop suicides, mass shootings, etc. by having a zero-tolerance policy for bullying. I say that's bullshit as long as legislation like this exists, because as long as prejudice is enabled through our laws, then it's not going away in our school system, and it's going to continue to impact children's lives. No one wants to get the news that their child has chosen to end their life. But with legislation like this, we ensure more scenarios like that. More people dying. Since this demographic is but a small portion of our population, it's more genocide. Yet, even being a small portion of humanity still means we're perfectly human. These laws don't cost comfort unless you're a pervert or an asshole. These laws cost kids' lives. Pro-life? Bullshit. I say you can't use that title unless you do absolutely no harm to anyone that isn't harming you physically or mentally. You think it's going to cost you an eternity in hell? Why, 'cause some spooky man with a booming voice told you behind a bunch of smoke and mirrors that it would do that? I challenge anyone that believes that to find me one reference in the Bible about trans individuals. I know I'll be waiting for eternity because there's nothing there. The only thing there is about cross-dressers. That is exactly where it all boils to the surface, the true reason behind the fear-mongering. To those in control, they want it to be viewed as cross-dressing. That way they can use the following Bible verse. Deuteronomy 22:5. A woman shall not wear that pertaineth to a man, and a man shall not wear that pertaineth to a woman. It is an abomination unto the Lord thy God. However, the former quote became murkier over time as women took control out of the hands of arrogant manipulators. The latter stayed roughly the same in Western society, and that is why photos circulating with trans masculine individuals within them don't make much of a difference to the individuals that support these laws. These people view trans masculine individuals as a byproduct of modern society, as they don't see the gender identity. The only thing these photos do is perpetuate the idea that one has to pass in order to be meaningful to society. This obviously erases a large group of trans individuals. These laws are specific to trans women. They view people like me as putting on an act that isn't yet normalized in society, and they want to keep it that way. This belief keeps the blinders on and ignores the bullying it enables in schools. This belief, even if it's not founded on religion, ignores all current scientific advancements and discoveries and research into a number of topics. Additionally, these laws may create conflict for individuals suffering from chronic illness. There's a law on the books by the name of Alley's Law, or the Restroom Access Act, and this states that an individual that is experiencing an emergency must be given restroom access, no matter what that restroom is. More specifically, it states the employee restroom, but the implications are whatever is closest. No conflicts have arisen yet that I know of. However, are we going to put people through pain and suffering to find out? Because no ethics review board would allow us to run that experiment. Treating people that way is unethical. This is 2016, not some archaic time long since past. We should be treating people the way they want to be treated, and that generally means with respect, kindness, understanding, and compassion. How would dropping the judgment and hate look to the Christian God? I can't speak to that, but I can say he probably wouldn't do anything if you simply left people alone. If you think it would, then I would say you don't fully comprehend the Bible and that you need to read it at least once, all the way through, if you're going to use it to judge others. It shouldn't be one's business to think about the other person's genitals in the stall next to you and what they're doing. Only a pervert would do that. If you agree with me that this is all asinine, then in my heart you're a witchling and I welcome you to my brood. I appreciate all of you witchlings, and I hope that you stay safe. Know that you are incredible. If you'd like to stay up to date with me, I would suggest checking out my Facebook accounts and perhaps subscribing to see more. Bye!